Hey everyone, today I'm going to take a look at two stock research and recommendation services, TipRanks and the Motley Fool. These are somewhat different services, but they both cater to investors who need a little help deciding what stocks to buy. TipRanks gives you detailed information about what stocks Wall Street analysts recommend, while the Motley Fool has its own internal team of analysts who recommend stocks for you to consider. TipRanks is more of a self-directed research tool, while the Motley Fool is more of a recommendation service with a portfolio you can follow. In this video, I'll dive deeper into both of these services so you can decide which one makes the most sense for you. I'll get started with TipRanks. TipRanks is a general-purpose stock research platform with information about companies' financial performance, news, and basic technical charts. I think of it kind of as Yahoo Finance on steroids. You get a bit more detail, and I like the overall layout better, but for the most part, the stock research looks pretty similar. What sets TipRanks apart for me is that it also analyzes Wall Street analysts' 12-month price targets for every stock and tracks how these price targets change over time. So you can see what the potential upside of a stock is relative to its current price and get a sense of what level of confidence analysts have in that prediction. You can also follow specific analysts and filter them by past performance. This lets you focus on what stocks the most successful analysts are recommending and their price targets, as opposed to looking only at Wall Street-wide consensus price targets. I like the idea here, but I'll be honest that when I've used TipRanks, I haven't really followed individual analysts. For me, I'd rather create a watch list of stocks to follow than a watch list of analysts to follow. That said, one feature I use a lot in TipRanks is the Smart Score, which is a rating on a scale from 1 to 10 that's assigned to hundreds of stocks. The Smart Score takes into account a mix of analyst price targets, fundamental analysis, and technical analysis, and it's just a nice, really simple indicator that gives you a sense of whether a stock is worth looking into further. TipRanks also recently introduced AI-based stock scores, which are on a scale from 0 to 100, but I haven't really used these much yet, and I'm still a little bit hesitant about putting too much faith in AI stock analysis. TipRanks has a few different features I use to find new stocks to buy. There are two different top stocks lists, one that focuses on top analyst stocks and another focus on top stocks by Smart Score. I think both of these are really great for generating ideas. However, there are no specific recommendations within these lists, so you do have to dive into any stocks you find and research them in more depth. So again, a very self-directed research platform. Probably my favorite feature in TipRanks is the stock screener, which offers a really nice combination of technical and fundamental parameters, along with parameters related to smart scores and analyst ratings. For example, you can filter stocks based on upside percent to the consensus price target, smart score, and a range of bullish technical indicators. I find these simple screens to be a lot more effective at generating actionable ideas than the top stocks list on their own, and then I can use TipRanks research tools to dig deeper into stocks that show up on my screen. So now let's take a look at the Motley Fool. The Motley Fool has a range of different services, but I'm going to focus specifically on Stock Advisor, which is the platform's flagship stock recommendation service. If you want to learn more about other services, I'll include links to my videos on the Motley Fool Epic and Fool portfolios with this video. With Stock Advisor, you get 2 new stock recommendations each month that you can consider adding to your portfolio. The focus is on long-term explosive growth stocks, so think companies like Amazon, Nvidia, and Netflix, all of which Stock Advisor recommended before they became the stock market giants they are today. You're expected to hold recommended stocks for at least 5 years and potentially 10 years or more, so the service is really designed for long-term investors who want to buy and hold. This approach has been really successful. The Stock Advisor portfolio has beaten the S&P 500 823% to 164% from 2002 to April 2025, which is a really impressive track record. Another thing I like about Stock Advisor is that every recommendation comes with a research report. These are pretty accessible and you don't need a background in financial analysis to read them. The reports focus mainly on a company's competitive position, plans for the future, growth opportunity, and big picture risks. Stock Advisor also includes a monthly rankings list, which highlights 10 stocks that are already in the portfolio that you can consider doubling down on right now. These are stocks that Stock Advisor has already recommended that have strong momentum or might be undervalued after a pullback. I think the rankings list is a great tool because it gives you some guidance on what stocks to consider if you have extra money to invest in between new recommendations. An aspect of Stock Advisor that will appeal to some people is that if you're not that interested in stock research, you really don't have to do any in order to follow along with the portfolio. You can easily follow the recommendations when they come out, and the twice a month pace makes the service feel pretty relaxed. So it's really nice if you're new to investing or want to invest in individual stocks, but don't want to spend hours researching companies on your own. So between TipRanks and the Motley Fool Stock Advisor, which service is better for you? I really like both platforms, but to me they serve pretty different purposes. I think TipRanks is good if you're more of a self-directed investor and you want to use Wall Street analyst price targets as a guide for what stocks to buy, but you're still planning to do your own research. It's also good if you have your own investment strategy already, since you can incorporate that with the TipRanks screener. The Motley Fool, on the other hand, is excellent if you want recommendations that you can trust and follow without a ton of self-directed research. You get 2 new stocks per month to consider rather than a list of hundreds of stocks to sort through. It's a straightforward system that doesn't take a lot of time. Another important thing to consider is your investment time horizon. TipRanks is really focused on a roughly 12-month time frame, while Stock Advisor is thinking about 5 years and beyond. So think carefully about how actively you plan to manage your portfolio and how frequently you want it to turn over. Both of these services are pretty affordable in terms of price, but I think the Motley Fool is a better deal. TipRanks starts at $30 per month paid annually, which is $360 per year. Stock Advisor, on the other hand, costs $199 per year, and I'll include a discount code with this video so new members can get their first year for just $99. It's a pretty nice bargain, especially considering how well Stock Advisor has performed over the years. Overall, I think TipRanks and the Motley Fool are both great platforms for investors, and which one is right for you depends a lot on your investing goals and style. I've written in-depth reviews of both platforms, so be sure to check those out if you want to learn more.